If you love Calypso, you love Leroy Kelly's The Black Stallion. And even if you don't love Calypso and you see The Black Stallion performing, you would definitely fall in love with the art form. One of the bards in the business, no doubt. The man who's been around for many a year and still going strong. Stallion, welcome to CultureShare.
I want to say again, it's nice to be here with you and share this hour with you on CultureShare.
When I hear the name Black Stallion, bells start going off in my head. I think of Martin Luther King, Bun Them, Money, Money, Black Stalina in an earlier time, Wade Dorothy, Raid the Caribbean Man, Black Man Time, get up, wake up, and the black man feeling to party. Well, I mean, what is it that kept you in the business so long and still at the top?
Well, again, I must say that, I sort of learned my lesson from the early school where much of the guys who has been sort of pioneering the art up to a certain level. And I had the honor of maybe sharing stage with people like Spoiler and Pretender and Kitchener. And I think, when you sort of grow up between these guys and you sort of learn your lessons from them, I think you sort of learn it the right way. And they always sort of like show you where in this form, you should never sort of achieve all your goals. You should always leave a few hanging outside here to go to. And I think it's so important that, when you keep going further and further and you keep not achieving that goal, but keep setting different, goals to go at. And I think maybe this is what keep Black Stallion going for all these years.
But over the years, there must have been some downsides. I mean, were there times when you say, look, man, why am I struggling in this business for? Has it ever happened to you?
Yeah, well, like in anything else, there were times because, like when I first started, although that, what I should say is like the type of songs that I sing with the lyrics, hard lyrics, although it was not, as they say, commercial, being going on records and selling a whole lot. So then it was a bit of a problem to get records going. So the early Black Stallion, I think we didn't have much records happening. This was like the early 60s when Black Stallion was just sort of blooming out, like Southern Calypso King and a couple semi-finals and finals, And it was rough in those days. I mean, plenty of times, like you say, I sort of feel like packing it all up. But then where my thing sort of started from, from small I was always kind of looking for this medium where I could really get out there and sort of express myself. I sort of tried with beating a little pan, I sort of tried with a little dancing, and then I came across Calypso. And when I first thought I came across Calypso, I realized to myself, well, this is the medium that I could really and truly express myself and say some of the things I would like to say and sort of educate my people the way I would like to do it. So I sort of stuck to Calypso. So even though that times were hard, but then I think it was easy because getting out there and giving the message was like 100% contentment for me to know that people were accepting what I was saying. So the vibrations from the audience will always overcome the problems that you have in the thing. So I think this is what sort of keep Black Stallion always going.
You said serious lyrics, and to me that is a story of Black Stallion. Serious lyrics. Do you think that sometimes you take yourself too seriously?
No. I am.
Or sometimes you laugh at yourself?
No, I wouldn't say I take myself too seriously. I have always seen Calypso like a Calypsonian, like that old African storyteller that's sort of going from village to village, sort of carrying the word. Even today, I always like to see myself, most singers, Calypsonians say, well, we're going to a show or going to a country to do a show. Black Stallion like to see it. See, like when I, on tour, I always like to see like I sort of service in the communities, like sort of carrying the word even more than a show, like how some people would see it. And I think, that we live in, in the serious world here today, as always, because our history will tell you that we never really had it that easy. It's been years of fighting and fighting to sort of put our things together and get ourselves back to we. And I think in all, as I said before, the role of the Calypso then is the storyteller, the educator. So I think, like you should always sort of keep it on that serious note.
But of course, there are times for some levity, sometimes for the peacock, sometimes to poke fun of ethnic people, maybe. Sometimes, what do
Yeah,
you say?
well, I sort of wrap everything up into the calypso, like like when we take, but let us take a song like oh, let's look at this here. When we look at Black Man Feeling the Party, and most people seem to think, well, okay, it's a party song, and I really care to say it's a social commentary. I mean that when we look at, you know, you're down in a party and you're having a good time, and yet you find all that seriousness about keeping your family together, bringing out the wife and sort of paying compliments to the fine things that she has done to sort of keep the family together and all that. I think, you know, I was able to sort of wrap everything up inside of there. So I think between all that seriousness, there's this bit of humor about Black Stallion, then sort of wrap up inside of the lyrics.
You have come a long way in Calypso, winning the Monarch in Trinidad on many occasions. But do you still worry whether your next album would be a good seller or not?
Yeah, well, I think that is always a problem. You know, that's always a worry because you know, I think you're sort of obligated each year, as how our art form run, to sort of get out there and please those people every year. And I think like in this business, you would know to yourself, you just can't take everything for granted. The audience that you're dealing there, they sort of move in different directions, and you got to sort of be abreast or ahead to sort of understand. You know, like when we take this year, the album I sort of did, the name of the album was Look on the Bright Side. And Look on the Bright Side was my particular song on the album. Why I chose to sing that song in Trinidad, especially in 1991, Trinidad had a very hard 1990, where, you know, Muslim thing, economy, devaluation, and all this IMF and all this other problems. And I was, you know, looking at it, and I sort of look at it this way. I said, look, the best way to sum everything up is to sort of tell the people, look on the bright side. You know, and I think all in all, this is what the whole thing is about. You know, sort of get it down into sort of small pieces. Then, you know, like, so we're looking on the bright side, and I think that all in all sort of take up everything that happened in Trinidad in 1990.
When you won the Monarch this year, I remember reading that you said that this couldn't come at a more appropriate time because you were having some problems and meeting some obligations in terms of your home. And you were quite happy that you won the Monarch at this particular time. How are you today?
Well, as I said again, I think what is important, you know, in again we fall back to that song. There's a particular line in that song, "Look on the Bright Side," that says something like,
Don't tell me you forget it now.
"Remember this." They said, "Remember to say that nothing at all lasts forever. One day is for the slave, and one day for the master."
One door closed, and next one
And
will
one
open.
door open. And the last verse I said, of course in life we may have our little setbacks, but we just can't say that and look, relax. So we just keep looking on the bright side.
So would you say then that winning this year has been the brightest moment in the business?
Yeah, well, I would say that. I think like you know, I've won the crown in Trinidad on 4 occasions, and I think like each time it has different feelings. I think 79, the first year that I won the crown, it was, you know, the first time it was just beautiful. You know, I was sort of excited and everything. When I won the crown again with Dorothy, I was sort of more into it, that I was able to deal more being the monarch. And then with Bondem, I had a real beautiful year. I think this year, more than ever, sort of enjoying it. Because I think most of all is the calypso. I think like this song, Black Man Feeling the Party, which like showing another side as Black Stallion. And I think, you know, um, it sort of reach out. And you know, I got more calls from more Caribbean communities this year more than any other year, and I was able to sort of deal with being the monarch of Trinidad and Tobago more this year than the previous years that I've won it. So all in all, I sort of enjoyed this one.
And what moment in your career you would love to forget?
Well, I would say this. I would say this. Like, I enjoy right now. I want to say I enjoy all the moments that I had, because today I'm pleased about Black Stallion, and I see everything as stages, in life. And if today I have any regret about anything that happened yesterday or the day before, I think somehow I'll be saying that I'm not pleased with Black Stallion now. That way. So I want to say that everything that happened, there were a lot of sad moments, but then it's in the process I sort of getting to where I am here now. So you got to look at even, the dull side as maybe the bright side. So
Coming back to that song again, right?
yes. So I wouldn't like to pinpoint any particular moment, because I think like maybe something happened, I didn't too like it the way it went down, and I sort of went home and I sort of think about it, and while thinking about it, is here will come the idea, and I sort of learn how that if it come along again, how to deal with it. And I think when through life, when you're looking at things in that direction, I think you don't have a dull day. So I think, can't pinpoint any particular day. I think all in all, it was a beautiful career.
1985, the biggest amalgamation of calypso bards coming together in a particular competition called the King of Kings. It was an historical moment in the history of calypso, never before. Mm-hmm. Have we ever seen such a crop of calypsonians coming together of that magnitude? And of that talent?
No.
For a competition?
No. I think like King of Kings in 1985.
85.
I think it's one of the best crop of calypsonians that I have seen. The final was a beautiful final, but I think all in all, I sort of enjoyed the preliminaries a whole lot better than the final, because on the preliminaries we had the opportunity of performing again with more the bands from the Caribbean islands, where you had like Pele coming in from St. Lucia, you had I think it was Flying Turkey, I think it was from Grenada came in, you had Gabi coming in, you had from Guyana, you had Canary, Invader, Griner. I think I sort of enjoyed the semi-finals a whole lot more than when we got down to the finals. I think like I would say it's one of the best shows that I've ever performed in. I think and all in all, we had a real beautiful backstage. I think this is what was really important. I think that the whole backstage said something to Black Stallion that particular night, that that we got a Caribbean unity happening, not only with cricket or with mass, but it's also happening with calypso. And I think it was beautiful to be backstage and between Gabi from Barbados, I think it was Flying Turkey, I must say, from Grenada, and I think Beckett or somebody from St. Vincent and Canary. It was so beautiful. I mean, being there together with all the bands from the Caribbean, sort of in one room, it was really beautiful. And I think this was the real experience about that King of Kings contest.
Do you think Caribbean people up to now see the Calypsonian as, I'm here flash in the pan, sing 2 tunes and, come, jump up on the stage, have a good time and, what's the big deal? No. Or do they see the Calypsonian for what he or she really is?
Well, I think, we had that problem, people not recognizing the Calypsonian, what he really stand for or she really stand for a few years ago. But I think like within the last few years, I must say that people in the Caribbean sort of taking the Calypsonian very serious, very, very serious. Because, when we look at it, when you get out of the Caribbean especially, the only form of identity you really have is your culture. You know, and I think more than ever now where calypso has become a total Caribbean thing. You know, I remember a few years ago it was maybe just a thing for Trinidad. Now we have, I mean, like when you look at Barbados and you check from Shama to Gabi, I mean, and in this time where like Barbados have something like 5, 6 heavy calypsonian representing them all over the world, you know, whether it be Red Plastic Bag, Ras Isle, Gabi, Griner. You look at St. Vincent and you come up with Beckett and you know, Winston Soso, you look at Grenada, you come up with Inspector, Jamo, and Wizard, and you look at how it's shaped in the Caribbean now. I think we, you know, it's very serious here now because we got that whole Caribbean community to sort of give us this lift that we need. And I think, you know, like we were saying a while ago, that the only way that Calypso could reach international that we would like to see it is when we get the support of our communities. And I think, you know, like in especially in North America here, as we know, it's a country of communities and you must have the backings of your community. And now that we have calypso music sort of extended throughout the Caribbean where so much beautiful things happening, I think like that respect is there now. I think they sort of really take us serious.
You said the word Caribbean about 6 times in the past few seconds here. And every time you say it, I keep thinking of the Calypso, the Caribbean man. Same ship,
Same trip.
Same trip. Now, if you were to sing that Calypso today, would you change a line?
Not one line. Not one line. Because, I mean, it's about 12 years now that I've sung this song, and the people who this song was addressed to, which is the people that's supposed to get a Caribbean unity going, I mean, there's still nothing to do yet. We're still waiting. I mean, like, I mean, the little Caribbean, I mean, when we look at it, you know, like I was saying a few weeks ago in an interview, that we already have a Caribbean unity. Everybody united in the Caribbean except the politicians. You know, and I just don't understand it. You know, like somebody from St. Vincent to go to Trinidad and somebody in immigration asking you how long you're staying. I mean, come on. These guys should put this thing together. I mean, you're not even a free trade in the Caribbean. And I mean, and look at it. And Calypso together, cricket together, mass together, steel band together, and the politicians not together. I think they're the only backward people in the Caribbean. You know, because when I look at, you know, you have cricket playing in the Caribbean, and let us say you have Richards going to play cricket in Trinidad or going to play cricket in Barbados and represent the West Indies, and he walking into Barbados, and when he reach representing the West Indies, somebody asking him how long he's staying to stamp his passport. I think it's backwardness. And I think, you know, the politician need to peep in a little more on art and culture and sort of put the things in order. But I think, you know, we have a togetherness in the Caribbean that's sort of untouched. And I think, you know, we on even further, I must say, than the leaders.
We must push one common intention.
One common intention, a better life in the region.
For the women and with children.
And with children. That's the ambition of the Caribbean man.
And you said it about 4 times.
About 4 times, you know, because it's important. It's important now more than ever. Why I keep using this word, this Caribbean, that Caribbean people need to understand this. I mean, we have seen it that the only way that you could succeed is with a unity. Come on, Europe, get together. 7 or 8 million people in the Caribbean, we can't get together and deal with it. And everybody know once you stay loose, nothing going to happen. So what you have is a whole set of craziness going on in the Caribbean. $1 American is $117 in Guyana, and $1 American is $15 in Jamaica, and $1 American is $2 in Barbados. And I said things happening that's not progressive at all for Caribbean people.
So it feels you very deep.
Very deep, very deep, very deep. You know, because You know, I mean, for the amount of years and the amount of brilliant scholars that has passed through the Caribbean. I mean, name it. Serious scholars passed through the Caribbean, and up to now they can't put the little Caribbean together. It sort of bleeds my heart.
Well, with men like you out there, still preaching that unity in a lot of songs, I think that we can say that at least there's some specter of hope for the Caribbean people, because the culture is rooted very deep within the hearts of the people. And Stalin, what's in the future for you? What are you still hoping to achieve as a Calypsonian?
Well, I must say, like, I've always said, you know, like when I sort of came into Calypso, I met some guys in the game that sort of took it from one point and sort of carried to another point where I was sort of able to pick it up at that point and carry it a certain distance. How far? Black Stallion don't know. But what I say is, while I'm wrong, I'm going to do the little that I could do until maybe some of the youngsters, be it Marshall Montano or Inspector or Papa Das or somebody, sort of take it up and sort of carry it a little further on. This is all I could say. Again, the benefit, like Black Stallion experience, is to be shared between the youngsters, like I always do, be it workshop in Grenada, be it workshop in Antigua. I always sort of open to sort of teach the brothers and them, you know, to the best of my ability. And that's all I could say, that we sort of trucking on and we hanging in there, and I think like nice things going to happen to our music.
Well, I don't know what cats you're going to have to let out of the bags now, Stalin, but what are we going to hear for 1992?
Well, at this point, we sort of, with the workshop, we've been having sessions with the arrangers, and we're looking at 4 tracks for next year. What I should say, we again typical Black Stallion. We want to sort of really again deal with the race in terms of like when we look around and we see that Black Stallion find really in this time that like too much black man only killing black man, and everybody keep telling me that some freedom round the corner. So maybe by that time when it reach, we go no black people around, because that's all what happening, be it South Africa, be it New York, be it in the Caribbean. So we want to deal with, that's one of the subjects we want to deal with next year. We like to deal again also with a whole lot of people that had, you know, seem to think that again this year Black Man Feeling the Party was a party song, and we like to just show a little that it wasn't a party song. So we going to get into something we call Come With It. And a couple more other beautiful ditties we want to deal with, like you know, nowadays in Trinidad, Monday night is a big thing happening with Monday Night Mass. So again, we want to deal a track exclusive for the mass people, Carnival Monday night, and maybe one other song that we like to keep hidden a little way. But this is how we're looking. We want to say we're in good shape. I've been working out with the, you know, home, and I've been working here with my arranger, and we're sort of getting ready to do a studio time maybe around the first week in next month, you know. But we're looking forward we should say a super album for 1992.
Great. Stalin, let me say thank you very much for being on CultureShare. It was a pleasure having you on.
Well, I want to say it's great. It's great being here. You know, we was always wondering when somebody gonna have Black Stallion on CultureShare, because you know, I remember when I've been running through the TV in New York for years now and nothing dealing with my culture, and I think it's so beautiful that, you know, in the 90s I could sort of turn the TV on and see beautiful things happening with my culture. I want to say it's nice being here, and again to all the Calypso fans out there, we want to say you just keep listening to the CultureShare.
Stalin, keep that Caribbean flag flying.
Okay, we always.
One
and
love.
Again, one love.
All right.